All right, welcome back to the great COVID 2020 novel reset, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, we're in trying times, and my name is Javi. I'm coming to you with information that I have learned, attained, and that has helped me and gives me confidence that I can, one, boost the immune system, prevent illness and injury, and increase my vitality and longevity. So I'm here to share these with you. The first thing that we're going to do, the first concepts I'll introduce are what we call embryonic breathing in Qigong and the state of Wu Ji. Basically, these states are calmness, stillness, neutrality, no polarity, stillness, nothingness. Okay. In meditation and mindfulness, we talk about relaxation, and we talk about clearing the mind. We talk about no thought. We talk about being of no being, doing of no doing. Sometimes you experience this in flow state. This is also a flow state response. And some people achieve this flow state response after increased exercise. So what we want to do is go directly into this flow state, and from there we do our exercise and our movement. So in Qigong, we say that embryonic breathing is the root of all of our practices. Embryonic breathing is the root of all of our practices. So our practices are internal. We call them internal as opposed to external. So external is physical, tissue, visceral, based in the bones, the ligaments, the tendons. Internal, we look at the feeling, the sensations, the state of awareness, the psycho-emotional fleeting states. So also the activity in the brain. So we look at the alpha states, the delta states, and know that we want to be in the theta state. So we want to facilitate and stay in the theta state, no matter what is being imposed upon us or what pressures are pushing or pulling us. Okay, and that's either internal, whether it's in your mind, or external, whether there's someone in your face. And so this applies to martial arts. These are martial arts concepts. They're also health concepts, because the Eastern tradition is woven in this way. In that historically these concepts come from the monasteries, where they still had to cultivate self-defense, but they also cultivated their sense of spirituality and their connection to themselves, one another, nature, and the earth and the sky. So 4,000 years of practice, experience, and observation. Going back to the concept, we're looking at that stillness. We're looking at nothingness, no thought, quiet, neutrality, no polarity. Okay? Question is, how do we get there? Right? There's two ways. We are comprised of a brain and the body. And some people think that they're disconnected, or they're two things. But neuroscientists would say that the brain body is one thing. The question is now, okay, well, what is the mind? And what is the emotional body? Where does that live? Where does the emotional body live? Where does the psychological body live? And how are these connected? And then what is the interface and what is the connection between the external life, the internal life? And then what can we do to self-preserve and to not be so affected by the external world? This is what we have in our power, and this is what we have to control, and our responsibility within the face of challenge. And this is how we also bring about courage and bravery. we have to go through that stillness. We have to go through that point, and that anchors us to our spirit and physically it's our connection to the ground. And the way that we practice and sustain the sense, the feeling of quiet, stillness, rooted centeredness is we practice that with exercises of movement of the body. So that's why balance is so key, and that's why we focus on balance in Tai Chi and in Qigong practices as well. So what we say is that embryonic breathing is the root of our internal practices, and we want to facilitate the Wuji state, right? This is especially true if we are doing internal up-regulating energetic exercises, right? Because while we are up-regulated and while the energy is moving powerfully, moving abundantly, we still want to make sure that there's a seed of root and center. So that's the first thing that I want to mention and suggest. There's a few different ways you can achieve this state of relaxation, right? A lot of times what we do is we use substances, okay? So there's all sorts of things that we already implement, use, and utilize in our lives to achieve essentially an altered state. Relaxation is the altered state. What we want to do is go down to the theta state where there's little brain activity. In this theta state, we are relaxed. The thought processes are slow, right? And elevated states of brain activity, they're boom, 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 moving fast. We want to facilitate this slow, calm theta state. And that's difficult, especially in times of anxiety, fear, stress, and unknown, which is what we find ourselves in today. So typically what we do is, we'll have a drink, we'll have a smoke, we'll laugh with a friend, we'll watch a movie. What we're doing is using our body, because our body is a tool, using our body as a tool to facilitate a relaxation state, using the mind as a tool, and then also using the breath. Our breath is a tool that's available to us, where sometimes, most times, it's actually something that's not really focused on and not really taught in schools either. But we have access to this one tool that we can use. So our lungs are here, but our breathing is here, okay? So we have to connect down to our physical energy center. What we do is deep abdominal breathing. We call this regular abdominal breathing. So regular abdominal breathing helps to facilitate the theta state. Focused, sustained awareness on deep abdominal breathing facilitates that theta relaxed state. This is what a lot of meditative practices focus on, okay? Deep abdominal breathing. This is something that you should remember and think about every single moment of the day, okay? Now, we have to connect our mental focus, our breath, and our body in order to achieve the theta relaxed, what we call semi-sleep state. It's called the semi-sleep state, relaxed state. From there, we do our work. Now, this is what we do. I recommend you can do this sitting, standing. I recommend putting the hand at the abdomen, feeling as you inhale deeply, feeling the abdomen expand, and then as you exhale deeply, the abdomen contract, okay? You're going to inhale deeply, exhale. Okay, so that's the theory and that's the exercise. Just to finish up, I want to mention that typically, especially when we're anxious, stressed, or worried, typically the breath ends up coming into just the chest. We need to bring our breath down into the abdomen. If we bring our breath down into the abdomen, then the diaphragm has more room to move. And so when you inhale and the abdomen comes out, the diaphragm comes down and has more, provides more room and space for the lungs to take in air. And so this increased lung capacity improves the oxygenation of the body and the oxygenation of the cells. You get more oxygen into the brain, you get more oxygen into the extremities, you get more oxygen into the feet and the toes. This increases the circulation, this increases the nutritional content, and then what we call this increases the energy into all of the cells of the body. But you have to bring the breath into the abdomen. Inhale and exhale. So this is also good for worry, anxiety, stress, which brings up the energy into the chest and into the neck and into also the head and the brain space. That's why we get these stressed necks and shoulders as well. What this does is teaches our mind, attention, and focus to come down. And when we can come down here, we go to the root of the torso and give that space for the abdomen to really calm down and provide space for the lungs to expand and take in that oxygen. What's important is clean oxygen, okay? And at dusk and at dawn, those are the best times to do this practice. Open up your window if you're inside. If you can, go outside and be amongst the trees, okay? So just to summarize this first video for you, we're deep diving into the torso, into what we call the energetic center, the Dantian, the elixir field. Dantian is elixir field. This is where all of the chemical processes happen for us, especially in converting food and eliminating waste, converting food into energy. Okay. The next concept we talked about was embryonic breathing, going back to that embryo state where we were just a clean state. We had no conditioning, no learning. And this is also where the Wuji state, singularity, where there's no polarity, there's nothingness, there's stillness, there's quiet, it's neutral. There's no positive, negative, there's no, lightness, darkness. And this is also the theta state, the semi-sleep state, where the brain activity is very slow and very low. This is our beginning point for the practice. So hope that helps you. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below. And the next video, I'm going to go into the exercise itself and do a follow along. So if you want to do a follow along with me, go to the next video in the series. Thanks for watching.